Hello and welcome to 100% Real with Ruby and Tom Bainbridge for another anti-wellness wankery podcast episode. And this one is more so about anti-mindset wankery and a lot of mental masturbation. Can you have masturbation and wankery in the same sentence?
Yeah, why the hell not?
There we go. Masturbation wankery. So this one is a lot to do around what many women struggle with, and that is, I guess, getting the lean body, because a lot of us want to get our lean physique, get this muscly, lean, defined, femininely muscly defined look, this athletic look. I'm not even going to say muscly because people freak out at muscly, but the thing is, what you want muscle. You're in this for muscle. Most of the time, you're trying to build muscle. It's just that your perception of the body that you think you want is different than reality because it's clouded in emotions and how you feel in your body, which is very subjective to the experiences you previously had in your body and what it looked like in the past for you, which probably does not look the same when you're actually intentionally eating with body composition in mind. And also the fact that a lot of our body image issues stem from our family, our parents in particular, our mothers in particular, because a lot of us grew up with mothers that were so body insecure. They hated their thick thighs, especially back in those days. That was like the thing of the news. And people always weighing themselves. And Tom said this greatly when we started. It's like we're in this society where women have been fed to just be smaller and smaller, and a lot of us haven't allowed ourselves to lead from those insecurities or to be able to see what our bodies are truly capable of and experience true muscle gain and building the sculpted body, because you're not going to get lean and you're not going to get shredded without muscle. That's just skinny. That's just thin. That's just weak. There's a difference between strong and lean and weak and skinny, and not allowing yourself to put the time in to build the muscle, because muscle growth is a slow process. Fat loss is on paper a really fast process. Like, it can be made really fast. The only thing hindering you is stresses, is human behavior, is emotions, is the fact that food is really fucking yum. So with that, here's Tom. I'm going to let Tom ramble off on this one as well, because we were speaking of a couple of client examples, and even he said, holy shit, they look amazing. And I'm like, ask them what they think of their bodies.
Yeah.
Complete opposite.
It's really common though. I mean, as you say, I do think, and I don't blame anybody for this.
Oh, wait. One sec.
You got me muted.
I see what happened. Speak again.
Did you mute me?
No, I had.
That's so rude.
Let's go. Speak again.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, and I don't think we can blame anybody for this because we are all a product of the environment that we grew up in. But I think a lot of women who were coming of age in like the 60s and 70s and even the 80s, they were bombarded with this idea that skinny is better. You've got to be skinny. You should have no fat anywhere. If you've got fat legs, it's terrible. All of this. And a lot of women today were raised by women who'd internalized that messaging. And so, and we didn't know anything about body image. I mean, Jesus, it's thankfully a really commonly known thing now that, like, talking about your body insecurities and talking about your diet in front of your kids is a really bad idea. But we didn't know that back then. So a lot of these women offloaded a lot of their insecurities onto their children, and that kind of sticks. And I think one of the big shames is that, as you say, there's this equivalence between health, leanness, which is not the same thing, and smallness. And I get this with clients as well. Well, I mean, people's insecurities are what they are, but this idea that I always need to be smaller, I need to be smaller. If I was to not be dieting, that means I will be gaining fat, and gaining fat is bad. Like, that is such a hard mindset to break. But the truth of the matter is that First of all, the human body is not made out of wood. It's supposed to have soft bits. Your legs are supposed to be soft in places. That's normal. That's healthy. That's how they are. And so if your marker for what is good and what my legs are supposed to be is just complete firmness with the same texture as like a forearm, you're always going to find that there are parts of your legs that you don't like, and you can't get rid of those. They don't go away. The only reason that you would ever have legs that are completely firm is when you're dead and decomposed and there's just bone left. And I see it all the time, and it's such a shame that so many people, especially women, hold themselves back from. Even if we leave the athletics and muscle gain side of things to the side for a second, there are so many women who just are precluded from living a normal, healthy, enjoyable life because any time they aren't dieting is a time that they are feeling uncomfortable. And the first thing that I would always recommend, as me and Ruby were talking about beforehand, is buy clothes that fit. Like if it's the case that when you're not dieting, if your legs start to look like normal legs, you feel really uncomfortable because your jeans are too tight, just get fucking rid of the jeans. Buy new jeans. Like you don't win extra prizes. You're not going to be lying on your deathbed thinking, do you know what? I'm so proud that I managed to fit into my size 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 jeans, whatever the sizing is where you are. That's not going to be something that's relevant, but you are going to lie there and you're going to regret all of the times that you missed out on because you are so obsessed with fitting in a pair of jeans that ultimately doesn't. Just buy bigger jeans. Buy jeans that you can be comfortable in while eating in a way that allows you to enjoy your life. And that isn't you letting go. That isn't you not being disciplined. That is you accepting the reality that a healthy body doesn't have thigh striations. A healthy body doesn't have legs that feel like they're made out of stone. Like a healthy body also doesn't have really, really skinny legs. Like if we're wanting to fit into if we're wanting to look at the muscle gain, the athletic side of things, I see it all the time. People commenting on strong women's pictures who've got like really muscular thighs going, oh my God, that's goals. Or I wish I could have glutes like her. And or I wish I could have legs like her. And it's like, well, yeah, but her legs are not 30 centimeters around. Like her legs are big. And if you want to have muscular legs, they're going to take up more physical space. And if your source of comfort comes from your legs not taking up a great deal of physical space, that is going to create an amount of cognitive dissonance. But that needs to be worked through. Otherwise, you're always going to hold yourself back.
I think it was us that spoke about it on the last podcast. I don't remember if it was yours or not, but if you're listening to this, you would have listened to it anyway. I am the same. Well, the physique that I was most proud of was a 58, 59 kilo physique, just to put numbers out there. And in high school, before my eating disorder, I was 58, 59 kilos, a completely different body composition to the one that I loved. The one that I said was my best one that just there. The one before was more body fat. It was a completely different lifestyle that I lived. You are a product of your lifestyle. So if it is that you're clinging to as an example, you are not going to go back to where you were because of the lifestyle that you live. And just like Tom said, it is not letting yourself go. And this is where I have so much anger at the health at every size movement, because it is the worst movement in the world. Body positivity movement is the worst thing in the world because of what they've become, not because of the premise that they were born from, because that was completely different before people decided to use it as, I can be lazy, I can love my body at this size. So people started putting that towards it, but you're never going to change your body from a place of hate. And if you can't start to appreciate your body now and remove the triggers, and I was saying to one of my girls as well, is, are you trying to create a 2.0 version of you with the same old metrics of success, the same old metrics of pass and fail, the same old metrics of anything? Because you can't live in both bodies at the same time. You need to let go of that to become all you can be. So what's the fear? Is it the fact, like, where's that fear coming from? What's changed? Because you can change your body. You can, like, this is why I walk the talk and why I will keep walking the talk, because I don't obsess over that shit. I might not have a frivolous life drinking alcohol on the Bahamas, But people who drink alcohol in the Bahamas and live a frivolous life have a body that show that. What you see online, which is what I really need to do a post of very soon, because I had people sending me Lauren Simpson, just sorry, but people like her that eat all the foods so they show and do all these things. Number one, you don't know who's on performance enhancing drugs. Number two, they can show you those plates, but have they eaten everything that is on that plate? Because I can assure you that not everybody cleans their plate. That is something else. And maybe there was a shared dessert. Maybe she had one of the tacos on the 10 plate taco bowl. Like, you can't compare what you are eating to someone else's or anything like that, because you don't know the full story, as number one. But this is all coming around to the fact that you need to realize that this is your journey, and the physical manifestation is a product of the inner world, and you can't change physically without inner change, because no matter how much you change physically, you're not going to be happy with it regardless.
Very true. I mean, yeah, it's so strange because like I've been in the industry for far too long now, and it's really interesting speaking to clients who aren't in industry, who have a very clear assumption that getting lean and having a six pack and getting all of that will like improve their body image, when I've sat at dinner with like literal bikini models who are so insecure about how they look. And it's like you can't assume that achieving the body that you think is your goal is going to give you the body security that you want. Like they're two separate things. They can be related for sure. Like if you lose a little bit of body fat or you gain a bit of muscle, it can absolutely feed into better body image. I don't think they're unrelated. I think that's a really stupid position. But to think that it's one-to-one, you've got to do so much more work than that, unfortunately, because changing your body is comparatively a lot easier than changing your mind. I mean, one thing that I would say, so that Lauren Simpson person, never heard of her in my life, but I've just looked at her Instagram. So she's in great shape, and I'm scanning through, and she's eating like, here's my breakfast bagel, here's my fillet of fish fries, McDonald's fake away, and here's my butter chicken pizza, and do you know what it is? They're just normal meals. They only look like extravagant meals if you're in the mindset of I need to eat less and less and less and less and less. Like she looks fairly athletic, so I'm guessing she trains quite hard. Is she on performance enhancing drugs? Not a clue. Doesn't matter. She's what, sorry?
She's also really friggin' tall.
That helps too. But yeah, I mean, God, I work with women and it's like, oh, they get really nervous eating more than like 1,800 calories. And I will continually bring up the fact, one of my clients, she's 5'1". She works in a hospital, so she does 12 to 15,000 steps a day. She trains 4 times a week. She maintains her weight on 2,700 calories. And that's not that much food. The amount of women who I've been like, oh, let's go for sort of 2,250 calories, that'll be a rough maintenance. And they're like, what? And it's like, yeah. But if you've come from a world where you need to eat 1,300 calories to lose weight, and oh God, if I push my calories over 1,500, then I'm going to gain loads of fat. It's just not true. Like, no, not everybody's going to need 2,700 calories. Kirsty is quite active. But I bring her up because she's like 50 odd kilos. She's not big. And you need the calories to fuel the lifestyle that you lead. And the problem you've got, and this is a kind of a separate issue, but the problem you've got is under eating will make fat loss more difficult. And it'll make fat loss more difficult because it's unsustainable. And so what's going to happen is you will try to restrict your food, and either in an evening or on the weekend or on some days, you're going to overeat. And then you just end up in this shit position where you've got the worst of both worlds, because you're hungry most of the time because you're extremely restrictive. And then you get the guilt that comes with overeating on occasion. And then also you don't make the progress that you want. But it's funny that you mentioned like the health at any size movement, because while I can understand that the extremes of the movement are ridiculous, the extremes of every movement are ridiculous. I think the honest engagement with the origins of the health at any size movement is almost like a necessary component to becoming comfortable in your body, because we do need to reject diet culture. We do need to investigate our internalized fat phobia, because where else but internalized fat phobia would come the absolute fear of having legs that don't fit into size 6 jeans? Like, that's literally all that is. That's, I'm terrified of having a bigger body. I need to fit into the smallest jeans that are possible, because if I don't fit into the smallest jeans possible, I've let myself go. And that's just, it's a waste of a life. It's no, it carries no less gravity than that. If you're spending your life being miserable because you don't fit into the smallest jeans you can buy, you are wasting your life. And it's such a shame, because it's not your fault. It is the fault of the people who fed the messaging to you and the women who came before you. But it is nonetheless true. And if you can get into the position where you can challenge those self-limiting beliefs, you will be happier. And with happiness comes confidence, and with happiness and confidence comes good eating, and with good eating comes probably the body that you'll want. And I often find that it has to happen in that order.
I was also saying to one of my girls that I'm grateful that I have the job that I have, because my biggest passion is being a role model for other women. And that's spurred me for my growth, for breaking out of the mindsets, even though you don't know what you don't know and you can't see it when you're in the storm. And I was in that storm for many years when I was competing. And I look back on reflection. I'm pretty sure we said this in our main podcast back when we did our biggest two, is my best body composition was in my third body competition, my third figure competition. And ever since that one, it was just chronic dieting, another dieting, thinking that I was building enough in a few months' time because I looked bigger, I was fuller. I'm like, oh, I built so much muscle. Yeah, that's the glycogen, that's the blood, that's the water, that's all of that. And then as soon as you lose all that, you look like a flat tick that's like nothing anymore. But I lost that best body composition because I ended up falling into the cycle of wanting to stay under a certain body weight. And because my girls don't use the scale, they don't have that same trap. But what they end up getting trapped in is the clothes. And I say this because no one's immune. Like, you can do the work, and I have clients that have done the work, and the ones that have done the work, you can see the physical changes they made, and their body composition is amazing. And just like the great thing about Tom is that he's very performance focused. He gets a lot of performance and strength clients. He gets a lot of people that want to chase that in the gym, which is what I'm slowly merging my content to. But the reason his clients look like athletes is because they feel like that. They treat their bodies like an athlete, not like a trash bag that you don't care about. Like, yeah, we care about our bodies, but realize that that also means fueling them and giving them what they need, because you need to fuel fat loss. You don't starve fat loss. That creates the biggest stress response in your body, and you're not going to lose fat in a body that doesn't feel safe. You don't even end up burning fat at rest if your body's in a high stress state. It's going to be running on glucose. And if you're running on glucose, then what's going to happen? Your body's going to try to overcompensate for that. And then what happens after that? You're just going to keep craving more and more sugar, because now your body is running off your body's glucose stores, and then you end up getting more hungry. You have more energy crashes, and it just makes it more and more unsustainable. But the reason we wanted to talk about this topic, because I said to Tom this very thing, there's a difference between not being in a diet and intentionally doing the right things, training in an effective manner, eating in an effective manner, which also means having some balance in your life, because now you're not in a diet. So when we say eating in an effective manner, it doesn't mean counting your macros to the absolute billion and not eating out. No. Eating in an effective manner for that goal, which is maintaining and building. And it means doing the lifestyle things that allow you to build muscle. It means intentionally focusing on it, not still having a foot out of the door, not trying to shoot under your calories, because I noticed this behavior with myself about 3 weeks ago before I caught myself out on it. Oh, I still have 200 calories left. Doesn't matter. But then I'm falling back into that mindset. I'm trying to build muscle. Just because I'm falling under doesn't mean that I'm going to eat less for that. Like, because it was a mindset of, that's cool. But then because I'm trying to uphold this image of walking the talk, it's like, I need to show that now I'm building muscle. I already had 3 things set me back. I already had my stomach issue, I had my foot issue, and then I had surgery. And they all led me even more to stopping that pathway. But like, Tom, how about this? Those people that say they want to look athletic and are actually training like an athlete, fueling like an athlete, what bodies do they end up with? And where's their mentality? Why are they able to maintain motivation and keep kicking ass? Like, what is the difference between those type of clients and the ones that haven't yet understood just how powerful that is?
I mean, it's a great question. Thing is, so to take it back, so it's interesting that you mentioned that I get a lot of clients who are performance focused, because honestly, I don't. A lot of the clients that come to me are seeking the things you would expect, so things like fat loss, muscle gain, body composition things. But what we tend to find over time is that a lot of the reason that people seek fat loss is because they seek better body confidence. They want to just improve their lifestyle. They want to feel good day to day. Most people, in my honest opinion, want to feel good day to day more than they want fat loss, and they just think that fat loss is going to get them there. And what I tend to find is that fat loss can help, obviously, and some people want fat loss and will seek fat loss, and that's fine. But what I usually find is that a person who focuses on becoming a better lifter or becoming a better athlete in whatever way matters to them, who focuses doggedly on eating primarily whole foods and reduces like ultra processed foods insofar as they can, and focuses on sleep, manages their stress, fosters meaningful social connections, these people are happier, healthier. They probably end up leaner. They probably end up with significantly more muscle. They end up with more confidence, because rather than spending all of their time thinking, my body is trash, I need to change it, I need to make it better, they are focusing on, my body is incredible and I want to do the things that are going to help my body to perform and feel as well as it possibly can. And what I honestly find is that once you can get into that mindset, motivation just happens. Consistency just happens, because it's no longer, I need to remain consistent to these rules that are placed on myself so that I can lose the fat I want to lose. It's now, I need to remain consistent because I feel fucking incredible and I want to keep feeling fucking incredible. And that's why I approach things the way that I do. That's why I spend so much time working with my clients on exercise technique. It's why we talk so much about, even the clients who are in a calorie deficit, about fueling the training so that you can get to the gym feeling confident that you can lift weights and you can add a little bit of weight to the bar. And whether you're starting out with literally learning to body weight squat, or whether you're like my client Kim, who's probably going to deadlift 180 this year, it doesn't matter. The point is to improve from where you are right now in an athletic sense, while eating well, sleeping well, and looking after your body. And the body composition changes just kind of fall out the back end. And it's interesting because by the time you get them, you almost don't care anymore. Because it's like, yeah, this is really nice, but I already felt confident. I already felt really good. I already woke up every day thinking, you know what? I'm a fucking badass. I can do all these cool things. And I honestly think, like, yeah, fat loss can be important, but it should never be the focus, because when it is the focus, not never, that's too strong, but it should very rarely be the focus, because when it is the exclusive focus, I think you lose track of all of the other things that actually make health, nutrition, training worth doing.
Yeah. And this is exactly why within my own coaching, I really enforce on my girls to put a lot of detail into their training notes. It's not for me, it's for yourself. How do things feel? Where can you put your focus on in the session? Because once you start putting a lot more energy and a lot more focus into the training, into your performance, into how great it feels, it's not even just about chasing weights. Like, the weights are a byproduct of you maximizing your efforts. Then the weights will increase with that. And it all just comes together to create the byproduct that you want. I think that was everything.
I love that like that focus on asking people to put more notes in, because as you say, it makes you recognize the cool shit you're doing.
Yeah, it's really empowering when you start to shift away from body checking all the time to how does your body feel? What can I do to perform better? This session felt shit. What went wrong? Did I lack in my nutrition? Did I lack in my sleep? Is it just one of those days? Because most of our sessions are just going to feel average anyway. It's like the lessons you learn from the gym once you start to tune into how your body feels. It changes the game because that leaks into every other element of your life. More confidence. Hey, I did this. Hey, I pushed myself to failure. Hey, I did what you said. I did that one more. I'm trying to make it the biggest effort, which you'll make sure you check my post tomorrow on Instagram. But I'm trying to make it my best effort, well, tonight for you, to show my last rep faces, where I'm pulling faces, where I'm struggling. Because, like, your pain tolerance gets better through it as well. But it's just feels so good knowing that I gave it my best once that set is over. Instead of, oh, I could have went that one more.
It's cool that you talk about like getting people to notice how being in the gym feels and all of this kind of things. One of my favorite ways to mark progress with a client has got nothing to do with weight on the bar. Honestly, probably my favorite way that I watch clients progress is when they first come to me, they're nervous about videoing themselves in the gym. And then they start videoing themselves in the gym. And when they send me the videos, they make negative comments about their body. And they're like, oh, I don't like the way that I look. I don't like this and this and this. And the coolest shit in the world is like 2 months later, that same person sending me videos and all they're talking about is how well they're moving. Or like, oh, I watched this set back and look, my heels are pinned down. I've worked really hard on that. Oh, look at the depth in my squat. And it's like, it's not just that their body image has improved. It's that they've changed. They don't see the same thing anymore. They're not watching this video and looking at this body and how does it look and how does it match up with what their expectation of how it should look is. They're looking at this body as this machine that they're helping to move better. It's helping to perform better. It's helping to do better things. And again, whether that is a person working up to a triple body weight deadlift, or whether this is a person who, when they first came to me, they were box squatting off a high box, and now they've just done their first full body weight squat. Just watching people start caring about how their body's moving instead of how it's looking is incredible. And the fact that it does start changing the way that it looks almost becomes irrelevant. It's the coolest shit in the world. I absolutely love it every time. It's just the best feeling hearing people and noticing people looking at different things.
Yeah, I'm going to add one more thing onto that before we tie a bow on this, and that's watching people not even want to train in shorts or a crop top, going to actually wearing, like, wanting to wear really awesome gym clothes and taking selfies and gym selfies. It's my favorite part of my job because that is how I remember starting out in this industry, wanting people to take more selfies, wanting people to wear the shorts, wanting people to stop. Like, I was going to make a status, and I'm going to make it soon on Threads.
Oh, yeah.
That living life without confidence and with low self-esteem is like going through it with a handbrake on.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is. I like that.
So
it's a really good way of putting it.
It is. So with that, let's try a bow on this. I think we said everything we need to say. Is there anything else you want to sum up with?
No, we've gone on twice as long as we were gonna. Just, yeah, as Ruby says, wear the shorts. Try to work on looking at your body as something that you can look after and help to perform and do cool shit that you didn't used to be able to do. And man, if not fitting into your jeans is the thing that's holding you back from eating in a way that makes you feel good, just buy different jeans. It'll be the best thing you ever do.
Yeah, I'll leave with that. And if you resonated with this podcast, if this touched you in any way, share it to someone and reach out to us and let us know, because this is something that goes deep. in the female bloodline. So thank you. And don't forget to rate this podcast a 5 out of 5.
Oh, yes.